Hey everybody, and welcome back to Zoo Tycoon 2. We're back in the creative zoo. I'm excited. I'm getting real happy with how this zoo is looking. I can assure you that it looks nice because I have a couple videos recorded in advance, at least the video of them. So here, we're working on the entrance of our zoo. I feel like this is a pretty important thing for us to be working on, as it kind of gives us the layout of how the rest of our zoo is going to look. So I decided to go with the boreal forest kind of setup, just because I think that it fits best for what I want to do with the zoo. I want it to be very nature oriented. I don't want it to look just straight up like a city zoo. So we're kind of doing a little nature setup here using the boreal trees, but I'm also using the temperate forest trees because I feel like they fit with what we're doing here. It's got that same forest feel, that North American kind of setup, and I think it looks pretty nice. So here we're using some fences, just outline what we're working on. It adds a little bit of extra texture, I guess you could say, a little bit of extra depth to our build. When you're in first person view, you can't really tell when you're up like this. But what you want to do here, and I know I placed these symmetrically, and that was on purpose because I wanted it to look a little bit patternized here. But with most of these natural kind of setups, you don't really want to go with a pattern. You want it to be kind of sporadic, kind of random, like how I'm placing these blocks right now. I want it to look like there's a pattern there, but I don't want it to look so identical that we have no idea what's going on. So here I'm looking for a fence to use, and I find this little kind of wooden fence that you see there, and I'm going to end up using that a lot in this zoo just because it looks really, really nice. So here you can see I'm using more of the temperate forest trees. It's just they work, and I feel like that's means to use them. And then we're just connecting some more path so that we can work and get people funneled into certain areas. In the next episode, we will work on this area over here, which is going to be our tropical rainforest area for non-monkey tropical rainforest animals. So I just figured I'd put the path in there now to get it started. And it looks pretty nice as is. And maybe we'll make some changes on that in the future, but for right now, I kind of like it. So you want to make sure you're adding in plants and rocks everywhere that you have trees. It just makes everything look more natural, not just as a, oh, nature has rocks and nature has plants, but it just looks nicer when you have a little bit of busyness with the natural going on. And we're going to utilize that a lot in this zoo to kind of bring out different areas and make them seem a little bit more designed. So I'm using the log, what the hell are the names of them? Benches. There you go. Log benches here to kind of give a little bit of the same theme that we got going. And then I also put in some lampposts just because I think they're valuable to see what's going on in the place. Now, the zoos that I've been to 2 zoos. At the front of the zoo is always a gift shop and a restaurant. Every single zoo I've ever been to, which is a solid 2, but that's beside the point, there's always a gift shop and a restaurant. So I figured we make this look realistic, and we'll add in that restaurant over there. I think it works here. People will come in. If they're hungry, they go straight to the restaurant. We can kind of decorate it out front. It's not going to be too obstructive in our zoo because right at the front. And I tried to do a different path, but just something happened and it looked horrible. But I think this is a decent way to kind of funnel people in and make it look natural to start. Now, this is one thing that I wanted to be a little bit more careful with while making this zoo, was adding in drinking fountains in almost every area. Being able to control people's thirst via a drinking fountain is pretty valuable in my opinion, and they don't take up a ton of space, so you can kind of place them down and they'll look nice wherever you want them to. So here we're going to add in the gift shop, and at first I was going to try to do a weird custom building type thing in order to make a weird little gift shop. But it ends up, honestly, just looking like trash. As you can kind of see what I'm doing right there. So I just go in, I grab the big gift shop, and I put it down, and it looks like totally fine right there. So I think we're going to stick with that. I may go back in a future episode and do something with the rocks to kind of go over it, but I'm kind of content with how it looks here. And then I kind of just added a little dirt sitting area. If you wanted to grab food, we're going to add some food stands over here. Wanted to grab some food, come back around, sit down, have a nice little relaxation area. I think that's a decent place to do it. So I'm just going to add some food there. But for now, I wanted to add in an exhibit at the start of our zoo. And this is kind of where you guys have to help out. And you got to keep in mind, it's going to be a little while before I can reply and put in your suggestions, as I'm going to be away, which is why I'm recording a lot of these in advance. But I wanted to make an exhibit over here just as something to see when you come in. And I wanted it to be a boreal animal. So let me know what you want to see. I don't think that bears can fit in here, and I don't think that moose can fit in here. But I was thinking maybe wolverines. I really never use them often in a zoo at all because they're just, they're kind of weird animal. But I think that might be a cool animal to put in just since we're making a interesting zoo here. So I wanted to make a little exhibit. I'm going to try to do this for the majority of the exhibits to make them have a little bit of extra character. So we're going to have a little overhang going on. And that's going to allow us to give a little bit extra design to this area. So you're only able to view the animals underneath that little archway. And then you're completely protected from the animals. And then we put in a dirt path to kind of indicate that that's where you're viewing. And I think it's going to look really nice when we have these all over our zoo. And, where we can put them in will be determined in the future, but we're going to try to put them in most all locations that we have animals in. And you'll see a little bit more of that in the next episode. But here we're just placing down some food. If people want to sit down and do food, A-okay with me. We got some decorations, we got some trash cans, some donation machines, just because I feel like having 2 donation machines per animal, that gives people, anybody that, I can't find the donation machine, even though it's right freaking next to them, I feel like that allows them to find one and get that taken care of immediately. So let me know what animal you want to see in there in the future. I'm going to extend out our water just over to the edge of the zoo, and we're going to kind of work around that as a river throughout our park. And you're going to see in the next episode that we actually go more in depth with this river. Then adding in some more waterfalls, adding in a little bit longer of a river, so that we can ultimately create that kind of snaking river through the park that I wanted here. And I kind of messed up. It got placed weird, so it was a little bit higher than I wanted it to. So we're just replacing our thingamajiggy and then replacing our river so that we can work around in the future. It's also going to work to kind of separate different parts of our zoo, which I like a lot, because that's one thing that I kind of struggle with in this game, is knowing when to change a theme, I guess. Going from a tropical rainforest to a scrub, going from a desert to a savanna, how do you do that? And I'm kind of going to use the rivers to separate different areas of the zoo. And I think that's going to work out really, really well. So here we're just adding in some vegetation, throw in a log, make this look a little bit more natural. I know there's a lily pad somewhere in here, and I might put them in, but they look a little bit cheesy sometimes, so I'm going to see. But what we're eventually going to have is going to have a bridge that goes over and goes on to a new part. So if you enjoyed, leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye!